Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, my social thread. My name's Crystal, and today is a very delayed roundup of the month for the month of April. For those of you that do follow me, you'll know that I had a baby 6 weeks ago at the end of April, 22nd of April, and baby was due at the end of April, but he came a week early, so I wasn't able to finish photographing my April makes, or obviously wasn't able to do my April makes vlog, so I'm doing it now 6 weeks later. Baby Theo is well, thank you very much for those of you that have been asking, and I have been recovering well from my C-section. I'll pop up a couple of photos of baby Theo for you. I have actually announced Theo's birth and talked about him a bit on Instagram and on my other vlogs, but I know that most of my viewers do tend to watch my roundup of the month, so I thought that I would just add some info here as well for viewers that haven't yet watched my other vlogs or that don't follow me on Instagram. So yes, Theo's doing very well. He's 6 weeks old. He wasn't sleeping very well, but now he has kind of gotten into a routine, so he does do sort of 3 to 4 to 5 hour sleeping sessions, which is great. So I have been able to start sewing again and obviously start vlogging again as well. So yes, roundup of the month, April. I don't have one for May because I didn't sew at all in May because I was in the newborn bubble, but hopefully from now onwards I will have monthly roundups for you from now on. So first and foremost, what did I make? I made, I think, 7 items. I made a bag, I made 2 outfits for my baby Theo, and I made 4 dresses as well. So let's start maybe with the dress that I'm wearing now. I don't normally wear the dresses that I show. I normally have it on a hanger, but this particular dress is the Cheyenne Tear dress. It's a maternity nursing dress from Peekaboo. That's the pattern designer. They're on Etsy, and they also have their own website and a good Facebook group as well. And this is the Cheyenne maternity dress. I have made this before, so basically you get quite a few options here. It's a tiered skirt, and you can change that up as you want. You know, you can have 2 tiers, 1 tier. You just have to amend the width of the height, the width of the tiers. So it's a crew neck, well, not really a crew neck, it's like a round neck, and you get bishop sleeves, short sleeves or sleeveless options, and then you get the breastfeeding option as well, so the nursing access. So instead of just the normal bodice as these views, you can have the nursing access, which is basically just a crossover underneath and the t-shirt part on top, and it's really, really great. It goes from a size XXL, XXS to a 5X, which these are American sizes, unfortunately. So which one did I go for? Let me just double check. So I went for the, so it's the US size. I went for the size 14 in the US size, so that's probably 14. Is it high? No, so that would be for, gosh, that would be like an 18 in the UK size, I think. So I made this, sorry, it's the one that I'm wearing now. I made this as a maternity stroke nursing dress, and I have worn it probably, well, definitely I wore it during my maternity. So whilst I was pregnant, I was wearing it. I've made 4 of these so far. And since having Theo, I've been wearing all 4 in complete rotation. So literally I wear the first dress, the second dress, third dress, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, put them in the wash, wear them again, because they're just so comfortable. They're loose and flowy, especially at this time of the year where it's kind of, sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's not. And the breastfeeding access is amazing, especially when you have a newborn baby where you're pretty much breastfeeding all the time. And I will show you quickly what I'm wearing, and I'll pop up some photos as well. So this is just made in a viscose jersey from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. This is the cuff here. I don't know if you can see the cuff there. So it's just a long sleeve. I went for the non-bishop sleeve, so you can go for, sorry, yeah, you've got the bishop sleeves and you've got the normal straight sleeves. So I went for the straight sleeves for mine. I did the, how many tiers did I do? I did the 3 tiers, and then I did the nursing access. Was there options for pockets? I think there's options for pockets, but I don't really like pockets in Let me just see. No, there are no options for pockets in a jersey in this dress. Oh no, there are options. Sorry, I'm going a bit loopy. There are options to add inseam pockets, but I find in jersey outfits or jersey dresses, pockets don't tend to look too good. I think because you get like the gaping hole where the pocket is, and you just kind of, it almost looks like a kangaroo pouch on the side. That's just from my experience anyway, and I don't really like putting pockets in jersey dresses anyhow. So this is the dress here. It is a bit big on me now because so this is I mean, you can see that it's quite big there, and this so you lift that panel up, and then you've got like the v-neck underneath there, and it's just kind of gotten a bit loose and sort of drooped a bit. So this is the round neck here, and it's kind of almost becoming a v-neck because the fabric is dragging a bit. So I think maybe that's just a fabric choice, but also I think if I was to make it again just as a nursing dress, I would need to go down by at least 2 or 3 sizes, I think, and then that would be a nice comfortable nursing dress. I still wear it every day anyway because, as I say, it's really comfy. I'll pop up some photos of me wearing it pregnant and me wearing it just recently. Now I just took these photos yesterday. So that's that one. What did I do in terms of, let me just get my little book out. So yes, no actual alterations actually, which is really, really good. The only thing that I didn't do is I omitted, well, I didn't add the pockets. And also the only thing to note about this particular pattern, which isn't a fault as such, but it's just a different way of construction. So normally you would do the bodice, you would sew up the bodice, and then you'd sew up the skirt, and then you'd attach the skirt to the bodice. But this, they get you to do the whole front side of things. So you do the front bodice, the front skirt panels, and then you do the back bodice and the back skirt panels, and then you sew it together and the side seams, which is a different way of doing things. But actually, I think I quite like that way, especially if you're looking to perhaps take in a dress afterwards. So this is a perfect example. As a maternity dress, it fitted me quite well, this size. Now it is a couple of sizes too big. I can literally just use my serger and go from the beginning of this cuff here all the way up the arm, all the way down the side of the bodice, and all the way down the skirt in one sort of overlock stitch, just to take it in a couple of sizes on each side. So that would work out quite well for me. So yeah, that's that dress. Highly recommend it as a maternity dress and as a nursing dress as well, as I say. So that's the first one. And then the second item I made was the Closet Core Knit dress. So that would have been my third version now. And I'll show you over here. Should I show you the pattern first? I'm a bit all over the place. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just a bit rusty. I haven't done this for a while, but hopefully it's not too messy for you. It's the Knit dress by Closet Core, which is actually my latest favorite dress. So my favorite dress ever, I think, has to be the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra shirt dress. That's my favorite. I think I've made about 8. A couple of long sleeve ones, a couple of short sleeve ones, a couple of short skirted ones rather than the midi length. And I really, really love that pattern. And I'm liking this NYX Closet Core dress. Now I've made 3 so far, and I like it because for me, especially where I've just had a baby and where I was pregnant, it was very it accommodated my bump all the way up to my last 3rd trimester, and it still fits me really nicely now. And I think it's a lovely dress anyway. So you've got sort of the V neck here, it's button front bodice with rouleau loops, you've got the bishop sleeves, elasticated cuffs, you've got the 3-tiered skirt, and you've got an elasticated waist, which is all really, really good things for somebody whose weight is fluctuating or your body shape is changing, as in pregnancy, for example, or even during weight loss, that sort of thing. So this particular dress, you've got 2 variations, and the variations are, actually you've got 3 variations. The variations are the dress, which I've just explained. So it's got rouleau loops here. It's got a gathered yokes, and it's got a, what's it called? The yoke at the back is lined, so you use the burrito method to enclose that. And then you've got two blouse options. You've got like the blouse with the peplum, longer at the back and shorter at the front, and then you've got a lovely blouse, straight blouse here without the rouleau loop closures, so just a simple long sleeve blouse there, which is really, really nice. As I say, this is my third one now, and let me just see my notes on what is this called, Closet Core. Be funny if I don't have it on here. So I think my only, I know what my alterations were. I know it by heart. Is I did everything the same apart from the sleeves. The sleeves in most of the garments that I've seen on other Instagram personalities, that's it, I've got it here, have always been quite short, so sort of up to here, which is just like an annoyingly awkward length. And so my first one, I lengthened it by an inch, and I thought it was fine until I did my second version and I lengthened it by 2 inches, and that was even better. And then this third one, I think I lengthened it by even more. I think I lengthened it by 2.5 inches all in all, and I quite like it because you get more of the bishop billowiness, which is great. So that's the one major thing that I did with the Closet Core Knix dress. And also the pattern piece for the sleeve, the bottom pattern piece is wavy, and you're supposed to insert pleats to get that gathered look. And I find that the pleats would have just, I mean, the overall look once you've done the pleats would be a gathered sleeve anyway, a gathered sleeve or a gathered wrist. And I thought I could just get that that look with just elastic and gathering it just with elastic, which is far easier, and the result in my opinion looks the same. So I just did the gathering with an elastic. I did a casing for elastic, and I inserted the elastic, and that just made it easier with the same look, I think. So one thing to note about this dress is that there is a lot of positive ease. So I found it quite, before I could even start making the dress, I found it quite hard trying to choose the right size. And I don't really like making toiles as such, which is, I suppose, my own fault, really. But according to the size chart, I should have been a size 16, which is a full bust of 42, a waist of 35, and a hip of 44. So that was according to the size chart. But then the finished measurements for a size 16 would have been a bust of 55 inches. So that's how many? That's almost 10 inches in positive ease. A waist of 55 inches. So that would have been 20 inches of positive ease, and the same with the hips. That's a lot of ease. So going on other people's comments that I follow, of people on Instagram that I follow, their comments were size down. Some people have actually done their exact size, which is great for them. It worked out for them, but they said size down. And so instead of looking at the size chart, I looked at the finished garment measurements more so. And according to the finished garment measurements, I technically could have fitted into a size 0. So can you imagine, from a size 16 to a size 0, I could have fitted into a size 0 because it says a bust of 44 inches and a waist and hip of 44 inches. So that's straight, basically. But I threw caution to wind to caution, what is that phrase? And I went for a size 6, which is a bust of 47 inches, waist of 47, and hip of 47. And I think it worked perfectly for me. I'll show you my dress here. So this is the dress here. This is a beautiful cotton lawn from Lady McElroy Fabrics. It's got hydrangeas in like a corally color there. Lovely hydrangeas, and then it's just a lovely shade of green, and I've got sort of corally just buttons, pearl shank, flat pearl shank buttons from Etsy or eBay, and I really, really like it. So let me show you. This is the yoke with the gathered bodice bit here. This is the lined back yoke, and that's, as I say, burrito method was used for that. And this gathered part here at the back of the bodice, elasticated waist, as you can see here. Here are the rouleau loops. I can see the rouleau loops and the buttons, and then you've got the bishop sleeves with the elasticated cuff. So this is the one I was talking about. Rather than doing the pleats as the pattern says, I just put made a channel for the elastic and added some elastic, and then you've got 3 tiers, and it has pockets. Does it have pockets? Ah, it doesn't have pockets. So I added pockets because it doesn't have pockets. Nope, that's right, it doesn't have pockets. So I added pockets because I love a good pocket, and I always use a Tilly and the Buttons Lyra pocket pattern piece and the instructions for that, because it tells you to overlock the pieces first. It does the understitching of the pocket, and it's a really, really good size. And pocket placement. It's normally 2.5 inches from the waist seam. And I think the reason why they didn't do inseam pockets is because of this tier here. It's a shorter tier than the longer tier here, and the pockets would be in between the tier 1 and tier 2. I mean, it wasn't that difficult to do. So instead of attaching the tiers, you know how you would normally do it, like you do the first tier, then attach the second tier, then attach the third tier, I did the front piece for the first tier, front piece for the second tier, added the pocket, and then did the back, and then did the connected it all together on the side, similar to the Cheyenne dress actually, where instead of doing, you know, one whole tier and then adding the next one, I just did the whole front part of the skirt, the whole back part of the skirt, added the pockets, and then connected it at the side seams, and it's lovely with the pockets. So the burrito method was, I did need to, they do have some good instructions in there, but just pay attention and just take it one step at a time, because I did have to unpick a little bit. But apart from that, it was a really, really nice make, and because I've made it 3 times now, I can pretty much I quite enjoy it. I know the steps that need to be taken. I still need to read the instructions though, but overall it's a lovely dress, and I have another one planned. So I've made 3 long sleeve ones so far, and I've got 2 more planned, but short sleeve version, but still keeping the midi length, I think, because I think it's a lovely summer sort of boho, very feminine floaty summer dress, which I'm liking at the moment. And I'll pop up some pictures of myself wearing it when I was pregnant, and then wearing it just recently. I took these photos again yesterday, so you can see the difference between and how it works very well for pregnancy and for post-pregnancy. So that's that dress there. I really, really love that one. Oh, I actually wore this to Theo's christening. I had another dress in mind to wear to Theo's christening, but I'll show you that here. But I ended up wearing this one instead, only because, I mean, I'll tell you when I get to that one. So that's the second dress, the Closet Core Knix dress. I'm just going to put it away as I go so that I'm not making a big mess of things. If there are any questions in the meantime or any comments, please do comment below. I do love reading all your comments. Yes, so that's that one. The next dress that I made was the by hand London Tamsin dress. This is the second time I've made this one, and this is the pattern here, by hand London Tamsin. I'll show you the line drawings. Yes, so it's basically a lovely, quite a loose fitted dress, I think, well, from what the models are wearing. I beg your pardon, it's quite loose. You've got the square front here. You've got these lovely, I can only describe them as bell sleeves with pleats at the bottom of the sleeves. And you've got a lovely long skirt with the same pleats at the bottom. Then you've got princess seams at the front and the back, and then a waist tie. I did everything the same apart from I didn't put pleats in the sleeve. So I just adjusted the length, because obviously if you use the pattern piece with the pleats, the sleeve would be really long because you need the fabric to make the pleats, you know. So I omitted that, and I shortened the sleeves. I also added here in the princess seams, I added invisible zips for breastfeeding access, and everything else is the same. So this goes from a size UK 6 to a UK 24. And I ended up making, so UK 6 would be bust of 32, waist of 25, hips of 35. Hips doesn't really matter so much because the skirt is quite full, all the way up to a size 24, which is a bust of 51 inches, waist of 44 inches, hips of 54 inches. So I ended up going for Yep, I've got it here. Sorry, by hand on the temperature. I ended up going for the size 14, which is a bust of 39, waist of 32, hips of 42. And those measurements are my pre-pregnancy measurements, as it well, not technically. Yes, they are my pre-pregnancy measurements. So bust of 39 inches. I'm normally about a 38. And waist of 32, and my waist isn't 32, but I just figured that would fit me. Also, having made one previously, I kind of kept with the same measurements or the same size, and that's what I went for. And yes, other things that I did. Okay, so with regards to the pleating, you're supposed to iron the pleat lines down so that you can stitch it in place. I found that if I with the pattern piece, I just marked the pleating lines on the pattern pieces, and then I transferred those pleating, not the full line, just the lines on each end of the pattern piece on my fabric, and then I put a pin on either side, and I was able to fold the fabric in half where the lines are, and then iron that across, which I thought worked out quite well. And once you read the instructions, it's actually quite nice how it all comes together, how the pleating, it looks difficult at first, but once you get the hang of it and once you follow the instructions properly, it does come out really well. I added 16-inch invisible zips to the front side seams, to the front princess seams for breastfeeding access, and I overlocked all the bodice pieces at the princess seams so that when I added the invisible zip, I didn't have raw edges on those seams. And that's it. Let me show you my version here. I really like this. So this is a stretch cotton sateen from the Textile Centre. I don't believe they're in business anymore, but I bought this. I've had this fabric for probably about 5 or 6 years now, just waiting for the right time to use it. And I did buy it originally for a wedding I was going to go to, but then I ended up making something else. So this was supposed to be my dress that I was going to wear to Thea's baptism. So I'll just show you. It's a cross front here. So this is a different way of constructing it. It's almost like, I would say, like bias binding, if that makes sense. So you start from the inside and then you fold it on the outside and you top stitch it all the way around. You've got some lovely gathers at the sleeve head here. This is the bell sleeve I was talking about. So I've had to use my pattern placement quite well just to sort of get that effect there, where the white part is here and the floral is here. So this particular fabric it's a border print fabric, which is quite obvious. And then you've got the princess seams here, and I can open the zip for you. Let me stand up actually. Ooh. Where is it here? And that opens fully for breastfeeding access, so one on each side. And I was quite happy how the invisible zip went in quite nicely, and you can't actually see it. And then you've got the ties that start from the princess seams that can tie at the back, then all the way down to the bottom. And then at the bottom I made the pleats so that it would just be in the plain white part of the fabric. And that's that. I'll pop up some photos of myself wearing it. So as I say, I made this whilst I was pregnant, and it fit me really nicely actually, but I just didn't get time to photograph it when I was pregnant because I was leaving the last week of April to photograph my makes and to do my April vlogs, my April roundup vlog, but then the baby came a week early, so I wasn't able to do it. So I only have photos of myself now rather than when I was pregnant. And I think I feel like it's a little bit too big for me. Like the bust is a bit too big, the waist is a bit too big, and also because of my fabric choice, it's not thick, but it's quite a weighty heavy fabric because it's a cotton sateen, and I feel that where it cinches in at the waist, it is supposed to be loose, and then you've got the tie to cinch in at the waist, but I just think there's just so much fabric there, and it just feels quite heavy and chunky. But I still do love it because I just think it's a lovely occasion dress. So I might just maybe take it in at the waist a little bit. I don't know. And it's got pockets as well here. Sorry, got pockets there as well. But yeah, I really, really like it still. But I don't know if this makes sense. I think it's a lovely dress, but I think maybe it might be a bit too much, like a bit too, I don't know, people might just stare at me and just think, oh, she's made a bit of a, I don't know, like she's kind of a bit overdressed. I mean, I wouldn't wear it like, you know, to the shops or anything, but I was thinking like maybe a wedding or a baptism, something like that. I could wear it. But yeah, what do you guys think? I really like it. I just think it's not my usual style, and it's not a usual style that people see. I've not seen it in the high street, sort of these big sleeves, and I don't know whether it looks good or not. I mean, I think it looks good, but I just don't know whether it's if people are ready to accept sort of fashion that's not every day or seen everywhere. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. So that's that dress there. I do still really love it though. And I love how I've done the pattern placement as well, where the print is sort of just in the waist area, and then as you go up it turns plain, and then as you go down it gets it's the plain white again at the bottom. And I intentionally made sure that the pleats were on the white part of the fabric, because I have made it before in, it's actually here, this is the first version I made, but where the pleats are on pattern fabric you can't really see it as much, and there's a lot of work that went into that, and I just thought on plain fabric it would be more obvious and you would be able to see that detail more. So as I said, yes, that's what I was planning to wear to the baptism, and then when I put it on I just felt, like I said, it felt just a bit too heavy for me, and I just thought it was maybe a bit too much, and then I ended up wearing this dress for the baptism, which was great, just fine. So I've popped up some photos of that one already. So that's that dress. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's that one. And then the last dress that I made for myself was a new dress that I've tried. It's the Stylark Hope dress. And I've got it over here. The Stylark Hope dress by Stylark. So it's this one here. It's a lovely, I mean, this is obviously a theme going on here. Lovely loose fitted dress. It's got raglan sleeves, a round neck, and a gathered skirt. And then it comes with an extension pack that has various bodices, which is great. So I liked that anyway, but I thought I'm going to need breastfeeding access, and originally I thought I could put invisible zips on at the raglan sleeves, and then I noticed that it had an extension pack, and the extension pack gives you these different bodices. So you've got a V-neck bodice with a different sleeve, like slightly ruched sleeve, and then you've got like a what's it called, a little tie with like a cuffed sleeve, and then you've got button front with, I think, the original sleeve that they have. So 3 different variations there, which is really, really great. So you've got 1, 2, 3 bodices and 3 sleeves, and then obviously the skirt you can lengthen or shorten as you please. I ended up going for this one here. It has a center front seam, and I added an invisible zip there. This, I think, might not be that comfortable to breastfeed in, because it's a woven dress. Pulling these bits down probably wouldn't stretch enough for comfortable breastfeeding access, and this one would be great as well, but I think I've got quite a lot of button front dresses, like the Hinterland dress by So Liberated. I've also got the Chalk and Nutch fringe dresses. I've also got the Darling Rangers dress by Megan Nielsen. So they're all kind of button front dresses. So anyway, I thought I'd go for this one, and I ended up going for a size, bear with me, what is that one called? Tamsin. Stylark Hope. I ended up going for a size 14. The measurements for this one are, right, so this dress goes from a UK size 4 to a UK size 30. Is this the finished measurements? Huh, it doesn't have sizing, it just has finished measurements. Is that right? Yeah, so it does. I just noticed this now. They only have finished measurements, not your actual sizes. As in, like normally you'd have, you would, whatever size you are, then it will tell you sort of what size to make, and then it will have finished measurements as well, so you can see the ease and decide which one you want to go for. So this just has finished measurements. So from a UK4, the finished bust is 81 centimeters. Let's do it in inches. 31 inches. And to be fair, the waist and the hips, because it's so loose and flowy, it doesn't really matter. So the bust is what you need to look out for here. So size 4 is 31 and 7/8 of an inch, and size 30 is 59 and 7/8 of an inch. So I ended up going for a size 14, which is a bust of 41 and 3/4 inches. I also added ties to mine, because although I do like a loose dress, I like the option of wearing it loose or cinching at the waist as well, depending on my mood. I also lengthened the necktie a little bit for my liking, and I added a 9-inch invisible zip at the center front seam, and I added 2 inches to the bodice. And the reason why I did that was because looking at the picture, it just looked quite high to me. So that to me is almost like a, what's that? Like an empire. I mean, this one here almost looks like an empire line, sort of where the waist is to me. And I find, especially postpartum, I find empire line dresses would probably make me look still pregnant, and I didn't want to go for that look. So I added 2 inches to mine. I'll show you my version. I went for a plain chambray, light blue chambray, which I bought from First for Fabrics. And this is my version here. So you've got the tie at the front here, and this is what you use to bind your neck. And then you've got the little sort of hole there from with the tie. So the original pattern would have this front center seam sewn up with a little sort of gap there. And I just added a zip, and and that opens fully for breastfeeding access. And then obviously if you undo the tie, you've got full breastfeeding access there. Sorry, I'm talking funny because I have it wedged in my neck. And then you've got the raglan sleeve there. I don't know if you can see the raglan sleeve there, and look how big that sleeve is. And then elasticated cuff. I've added ties, just self-drafted ties, and pockets. Does it come with pockets? Yes, it does come with pockets. And I will show you a picture of me wearing it when I was pregnant. And I didn't actually even post these on Instagram because I just thought it just looked, to me, it just looked like a hospital gown, and I just wasn't very happy with it. But now I've taken it out of my wardrobe again, and I photographed it without my baby bump, and I think it actually looks quite nice. So I'm really, really liking it. I think I am going to make more, because I think it only took like 2 meters, or maybe 2 and a little bit meters of fabric. Let me just see. It does say 2.5 meters, but I think it took slightly less than that, which is great. And I'm going to go down a size, I think. So I'm going to go down to a size 12, maybe even a size 10, because the difference between the sizes is probably a centimeter on all the pattern pieces. So I might go down a couple of sizes and do some more of those. And I'll post up some photos of me wearing it now, which I really, really like. And just quickly, I plan to make another one in this. This has just been washed, but it's not been ironed yet. A pink gingham, I think would look really, really lovely in that pattern. This is from Jenny Stitches fabric, so it's just like an old rose and white gingham. And then another one that I got is this lovely cotton lawn from Lamazi Fabrics. It's sold out now, but it's a lovely pink floral, and I think that will look really, really nice, as well as a lovely summer dress with breastfeeding access, which is perfect for me. It was a very simple dress to do, actually. The only thing that I didn't do is, let me show you. So in the, I can show you in the dress actually. So here, where the front is gathered, they ask you to cut a little bit of, like a little strip that you're supposed to put behind to keep these gathers together. And I just thought that wasn't, oh no, maybe, oh no, a little piece of, yeah, no, a piece of a fabric piece to go from this seam here to the front seam where the raglan seams are. So there's supposed to be a fabric from here to here underneath this part, and that was supposed to prevent the dress from stretching out, and I thought that wasn't very necessary. I don't believe it did stretch out. It was one less step to consider, and I just don't think it was necessary. So that was the only thing I omitted from that. So that's that one. So that's all the dresses that I made for myself. The only other things that I did make was a couple of items for baby boy. I made a lovely, I say lovely because I made it, a lovely hoodie, but it's got like an integrated, what's it called, onesie underneath. I don't know if I can, I'm showing it right, an integrated onesie underneath. So that's attached at the arms. And this is a lovely organic cub print from Fabric Story, who I am a brand ambassador for, and so I got the fabric at a discount. And then this is their green, old green waffle jersey as well. And then with that, I made matching leggings with the little feet. So that set is there. I'll pop up a photo so you can see the whole thing together. And the patterns I used for that were peekaboo patterns again. And this is the peekaboo pattern. It's called the Eeny Meeny Miny Mo. Lots of different variations there. So you've got, can have the t-shirt dress, a t-shirt, a hoodie by itself, a onesie with a hood, a onesie by itself, a onesie with a t-shirt on top, a onesie with a dress, a hoodie dress on top, and a onesie with a hoodie on top. So this is the version that I did here. This goes from premature to 4 years, which is really, really great. Easy instructions. I just do find that it might be slightly smaller in sizing, so go up a size or measure your baby beforehand. And it's very it was very satisfying to do. I think baby clothes are quite satisfying to do because they are on a smaller scale, and you can pretty much do an outfit in one evening, which is really, really great. The leggings, I believe they're a mishmash of patterns. So these feet are probably from the Brindle and Twig baby grow that I use, and the leggings I'm not entirely sure, but there are lots of legging patterns around, even lots of free patterns that you can grab a hold of. And then the other outfit I made again from Fabric Story is, oh, I've lost it. Oh, that came with a matching blanket, sorry. So it's basically, I've just used the jersey on one side and the waffle on the other side. So that's a matching blanket for that one. So it's a whole outfit. And that's actually be quite nice as like a gift. I normally do tend to gift friends. I don't know where that's gone now. I did also make another set. So this is a little hooded cardigan. This fabric here, you can see it's like a carousel with lovely animals in sort of neutral tones. So that's the lining, and then the outside is a beige waffle knit, again from Fabric Story. You've got little cuffs here, and I've got little prim buttons there. This comes with a romper with feet. So it's like, I don't have it to hand, but I'll pop a photo. So it's like this one here. This is the I think it's the this is the Made by Jack's Mum, or the Waves and Wild overalls. So I made the same version, but I just added feet, and I'll pop up a photo of the set because I don't appear to have it with me. So that's another outfit that I've made for baby boy, baby Theo, who's now named because he's here. And then the last thing I made was actually quite, you know, I was quite I would say impressed, and it was a labor of love. It is a maternity nappy bag. I'll show you the pattern here. It's a bag by Swoon Sewing Patterns. It's called the Belle Baby Bag. You can see how tattered the pattern is. This took me, I would say, about 2 weeks to make. But in order 2 weeks to make, about a week to prep all the fabric and everything else, probably about a month to get all of the materials together. There were so many. You've got like woven. Okay, let me show you. You've got your exterior fabric and your lining fabric. Then you've got foam interfacing, which is a specialist interfacing for bag making. You've got woven interfacing, heavy stabilizers. And then you need to get like the ring, the D-rings, the rectangle rings, the swivel clips, the strap slides, piping, loads of different bits and pieces in order to make the bag. And so it took me a while to source all of them and get it all together. But in the end, the end result is really, really nice. And I will show you here. Let me just zip it up. So here is my version here. So this is the outer fabric is cotton from Rifle Paper Company, and then I've trimmed it with green faux leather. And then these are the what are these called? These are the clips that go onto your pushchair. This is just some green webbing from the internet, and then you can see all the hardware. It's a lovely old rose gold hardware from Country Cow Designs. So these are the swivel clips. So they're really, really lovely. You've got the D-rings, which are these here, the D-rings there. You've got zips as well. They're all color coordinate, all matching. What else did I get? I got this lovely label here that says handmade, metal label that says handmade. These rings as well, they were all from Country Cow Designs. The zip was from Country Cow Designs. And let me just show you. So you've got 2 pockets at the front, a pocket at the side, a pocket at the other side, another pocket all the way there. Then you've got the bottom, which I did with the contrasting faux green leather, and then these little studs match so they're also the rose gold color that matches all the hardware. And it's got little straps here. Again, you've even got this little edging thing to edge the end of your raw edges. And then the strap, I've made it in the Rifle Paper Company fabric. And then you've got all the lovely hardware here as well. And then inside, I've just gone for a basic canvas, contrasting canvas fabric, which I got from Pound Fabrics. This has been well used already. Inside, you've got two pockets on either. Let me just see if I can show you. Sorry, 2 pockets on either side, pockets on the end bits as well, and it's very, very spacious actually. So this took a long time to make. The fabric is coated with what is it called? The fabric is coated with a special fabric thing that's called, what is it called? Oeko-Tex. I don't know, do I still have it? It's a little pot. I will link everything below. It's a little pot of glue type substance that when you put it on fabric, when you treat the fabric, it gives the fabric a water resistant property. So kind of like oilcloth, but without being too rigid. So it is kind of like a water resistant coating, and it kind of has like a wax cotton feel now, so that will prevent it from getting stained, and it will just make it a bit more durable. But the difference between this coating it with I can't remember what it's called, with coating it or going for an oilcloth, is the oilcloth is really rigid. I don't know if you know, like the Cath Kidston bags or tablecloths, it's quite rigid. This, however, you've got the waterproof properties, but it's still quite pliable, so easier to work with. In terms of holding all the pieces together, so pins definitely don't work because that won't go through your fabric. So you'd have to use what I use, these little clips, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, these little clips here, just to hold everything together. I thought inserting the zip would be the hardest bit, but that went in really, really nicely actually. So the zip, and it's kind of the pattern, it's nice how the way they design the pattern is that the zip is kind of partially closed, partially hidden, which is nice. And And yeah, no, it was very, I wouldn't say it was easy to do. There was a lot of steps to do, and there was a lot of preparation, as I say. So I had to coat all of the outer fabric, and I also coated all of the lining fabric. And then all of the pieces need to be interfaced with various interfacings. Then you need the drying time. And it was just a lot to do. But in the end, I'm very happy with it. I use it every day, and I will probably use it every day until baby's about 18 months, and then I normally just go back to a handbag at that point. I really love it. I probably wouldn't make another one because it is quite fiddly and I only need one nappy bag. Although to be fair, I don't need so many dresses, and I have so many dresses that I keep making. But this was a labor of love, but also it was very expensive. So Rifle Paper Company obviously was, how much is it? Is it like £20 a meter? And I think I used 2 meters here all in all, because it goes all the way. So the pockets are lined, this bit is lined, the straps as well, and they do come at a narrower width as well, so I bought 2 meters of that. And then the canvas lining was fairly cheap, but then all of the interfacing probably came up to about £60. That sounds like a lot. I do have a bit of the interfacing left, the foam interfacing and the fusible interfacing. I do have some bits left, but that was sort of the minimum sort of lengths I could get so that I had enough for my project. And then all the hardware and things, I think was about £30 to £40 for the hardware. Then you've got the webbing and the faux leather, I think altogether. Then you've got the glue, and then you had the Oeko-Tex thing. It's not Oeko-Tex, it's called Odicoat. Sorry, Odicoat, Odicoat. That was £15 a pot, and I ended up using a pot and a half. So altogether, I think it cost me more than £100 in terms of materials for this bag, plus my time, which obviously I'm not charging myself, but it was expensive. But to be fair, I could have done it a lot cheaper if I didn't go for Rifle Paper Company fabric for my outer fabric, or if I went for like a vinyl, or if I went for a already waterproof fabric. So then I didn't have to spend you know, £15, well, £22.50 on the Odicoat to coat it. And also I chose like quite fancy hardware. Like, I mean, this is just beautiful. I don't think I would have changed it though, because I do love it, sort of this rose gold hardware, and everything was matching because I bought it as a set from Country Cow Designs, as I say. So I'm really happy with it. So as I say, I wouldn't make it again, but if I did make it again, I wouldn't put pockets on one side, because when I grab the bag, I can't tell the difference whether it's the front of the bag or the back of the bag. And I don't know about you, but I have certain places where I put things. So the front of the bag, I'll put my Vaseline for my lips, I put my phone, I put my coin purse in certain pockets. And when I pick up the bag, I can't tell the difference between the front and the back, so I'm putting my hands in all the pockets to find out where my things are. So I think if I was to do it again, I would omit the back pockets and I would just omit the back pockets. It would just be plain there, and then I'd know the difference between the front and the back. Let me pop up some photos. And I think that's it. That's all I've made for the month of April. Hopefully you enjoyed watching that. If you do have any comments, please do, or questions, please do ask below. And that's it. As I say, I don't have any makes in May because I was busy with newborn baby. June, I might get out a plans vlog, although because of the baby, I don't have that much time to sew. So compared to, I mean, for those of you that follow me, you'll know that on an average month, I pretty much can churn out between at least 10 items. I'd say between 8 and 10 items a month. But now with a new baby, I probably could only churn out about 2 or 3, if that. So I might do a plans vlog. It will be very short. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's really nice to be back after having 6 weeks off with the baby. I am just getting to sew again and vlogging as I'm doing now. But I'm really encouraged by all your lovely comments on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, and on my Instagram page. Thank you so much for watching. If you don't already subscribe, please kindly subscribe and like as well. And please do spread the word. If you like my content, please tell your friends and family that enjoy sewing, just so that my content can get out there. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a good night. It's a night here now, but have a good day if you're watching it during the day. Thank you so much. Bye bye.